morning. First of all, thank Subir Ghosh for inviting me to say something on a topic which is, I read that I am an odd man in this group because I will not use the word algorithm at all. So what I am going to tell is some interesting areas which may motivate you to choose some topics in it to continue your work. Is something on graph operators as such and graph dynamics. Dynamical system is a word which you find in topology. You have a set x and the function defined from x to x. That's all. But so technically we call this as a dynamical system. But there is no life in the definition because you have a function and a set and a function, that's all. What is the dynamics coming there? Dynamics will come when you take a point, say x in x, you have a phi from x to x. So phi of x is somewhere here, but x is again a copy of x itself. So my phi of x will be somewhere here. That's good. So I can do, so I start with x, I can do phi of x. Because phi of x is a point in x, I can do phi of x. Then dynamics comes. Okay, so phi 2 of x, phi 3 of x. Whenever I say about dynamics, there is a very famous puzzle I cannot resist from telling that. Because I write articles for school children, I will spend at least 2 minutes to say something about the school level mathematics. Apparently school level mathematics, but things are difficult. So I will take you to a somewhat puzzle. If you do it before in a 1 hour, I will give you 1 lakh rupees. Okay. The problem is a famous problem called 3n plus 1 problem. Okay, so the mapping that I consider is from n to n. I define phi of n equal to n by 2 if n is even, and 3n plus 1 if n is odd. This is a classical 3n plus 1 problem or collapse problem. I have not posed the problem now, but just define you a function phi from natural numbers to natural numbers, which takes the value n by 2 when n is even and 3n plus 1 is odd. Okay, let us try to do some dynamics. For example, I take for example 7. 7 is odd, so 7 goes to 22, goes to 11. Right, 11 is odd, so it goes to 24. Correct me, it is 17. 17 is odd, it goes to 52, it is 26. 13, 40, 20, 10, 5. Suddenly it goes to 17, 16, goes to 8, goes to 4, goes to 2, goes to 1, and 1 is to 4. Okay. Happily it ended in this much number of steps. Now I will pose the problem. 4, you reach 4, you reach 2, you reach 1, and 1 goes to 4. So this is a circuit in this dynamical system. 4 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1, 1 goes to 4. My conjecture, or the conjecture of Collatz, which is about 50 years old, is to prove that 4, 2, 1 is the only circuit. Okay, you give me the answer before I go. I will give you maybe $1 million. Okay, so whatever end that you are going to start, my conjecture of Collatz is that 4 to 1 is the only circuit in this. We can associate a Collatz diagram with this and study the properties of Collatz diagram. I say that there exists an edge between x and y, if y is equal to phi of x. Okay, so that means between 24 and 7. So I automatically drew it as a diagram. Okay, now if you start with 27, you spend a lot of time to get to 4 to 1. Okay, so the conjecture is 4 to 1 is the only circuit in this 3n plus 2. Okay, I'll give you more confidence to solve this. For all values of n less than 2 raised to 40, it is proved. So don't try any n with less than 2 raised to 40. That's why I offered you $1 million. Okay. Now I come to, so this is a puzzle which motivates dynamical systems, problems in dynamics. But dynamics that I am going to do is not with points but with graphs. Okay, so thank you very much. You can identify this structure in Kerala, not for Keralites, others. Yesterday we were deliberating on research. So let's take 1 second to explain a famous quote by David Gross, a Nobel laureate of physics. He says that a country neglects basic research. It is doomed to be always a follower and not a leader. And it will lose its most talented young scientists who will go elsewhere. Healthy science is like a healthy tree. You cannot destroy the roots and hope that the branches will flourish. So the message is clear. So those who want to do research, do it seriously.
They are neglecting basic science.
Yes.
So what is the point getting asked?
No. To revive it should not take place.
They are from the west and into the west who is neglecting the basic.
No, we are doing it. We have 250 engineering colleges in Kerala, but only 5 universities. Okay. So the dynamics I have divided into 2 parts. One is graph dynamics, where iterations, etc. takes place, similar to what we did. To take a point x, you operate a graph operator on a graph, take its iterates, etc. etc. There is a notion of convergence, divergence, quadratic, etc. that we will discuss up till half time. Second half, I will use these iterations to explain some basic designs of interconnection networks. That's my point. So the basic notion is that of iterations of a graph operator. Okay. So, fine. So this is the fundamental question posed by Ore, a famous graph theorist. He says that this was a problem posed by Ore actually. Find all graphs isomorphic to their line graph. When the line graph is given, can you find the graph, original graph, uniquely determined? Third question, investigate repeated interchange graph, repeated line graph. Okay, so the repeated line graph is what? Here. So I have a G, I have a line graph of G, line graph of G, etc. So what can you say about this? So the question number 1 is to find all graphs G such that G is isomorphic to line graph of G. This is the modern terminology, isn't it? I want to find all graph G which is isomorphic to G. In the language of dynamics, I will say that I want to find all graph G which is fixed under the line graph operator. Okay, now this is a good exercise, basic exercise in any textbook in MSc. We can come to that answer after 1 minute. Those who don't know what is a line graph. Now, second question is I am given L of G. I want to find the root. Okay, so that is the question. Is it uniquely determined? Are there non-isomorphic graphs with the same line graph? That also we know the answer from your MSc textbook. Last one is repeatedly I am using line graph operator. What can you say? So if I use this modern terminology or graph dynamics terminology, first problem is I want to find all G such that G is isomorphic to phi of G or L of G. So I want to find all graphs which are L fixed. Second one, I want to iterate, that leads to what's called one periodicity, convergence, divergence, etc. Now when you are going to view a graph operator, line graph as a graph operator, the first thing that you should come across is, suppose I have another operator, does it commute with the line graph operator? Or for that matter, to take any two graph operators, does it commute? Usual commutativity question. You have an operator P1 and you have another operator P2. What can you say about, is it true that P1 or P2 is equal to P2 P1? Okay, and I can also solve a graph operator. That's what's called graph equations, just like you have an algebraic equation. I want to find all G, for example, all G such that G bar is equal to G. Okay, this is the graph equation. I want to find all G such that G bar is equal to G. The complement is same as this. Okay, so this is a good old problem which you know the self-complementary graphs. Right? So I know all G for which G is equal to G bar, that's nothing but self-complementary graph. So this graph equation is completely solved. Fine. I want to find all G such that G square is equal to G. Just like you solve algebraically, I want to find all X such that X square is equal to X. But I cannot take G square minus G and do it. I don't know what it is, isn't it? So I have to attack in some other way. Fine? So I want to find all G such that whose square is equal to G. You know what is square? Vertices is same. Two vertices are adjacent if distance is less than or equal to 2. Okay, so similarly I can try to solve G raised to K is equal to. Okay, so all graph equations you can try, and such things are possible also. Some of them are easy, some of them are difficult. So I gave you a basic idea of what is a line graph, those who don't know. So line graph has the vertex set of line graph edges of G, and the two distinct vertices in G are joined by an edge with the corresponding edges in G are adjacent. This is a basic graph operator called line graph, which was discussed by people like Harari, Norman, Ore, Beinecke, and all this. Okay, and this is a basic stuff in any PG course. Okay. So vertices of LG are edges of G. It's actually a derived graph, isn't it? From this graph G, I am deriving another graph G, LG, whose vertices are edges of G. And I say that two vertices in L of G are adjacent, the corresponding edges are adjacent. Fine. So you are deriving a graph from another graph. Right? And you know that LG is simple graph. So number of vertices of the line graph is equal to number of edges of G. We can find the degree of each edge in LG. This degree of U in G plus degree of V in G minus 2. These are all simple exercises in any book in PG level book. And if G is irregular, because degree of U is degree of U plus degree of V minus 2. If G is irregular, L of G is 2D. Because degree of E is D, degree of E is also D, D plus D minus 2. Okay, we can count the number of edges of G. This is nothing but using this formula that half of sigma d u square minus m of g. Okay, and the LT is G if and only if G is a disjoint union of segments. So as far as the first O'Reilly problem is concerned, we have completely solved the first problem. When is a graph fixed? Okay, so G is isomorphic L of G if and only if G is a disjoint union of segments. Okay, so this is something which is interesting because I can find the number of edges. This is also interesting as far as interconnection network is concerned because I want a regular structure as far as interconnection network is concerned. So calculate of an operator which is behaving nicely, that the regularity is maintained. If G is regular, L of G is also regular, but its degree becomes 2D minus 2. And if you are going to iterate this line graph operator, the number of vertices of it is going to increase tremendously. The whole purpose of design of interconnection network is that I need a graph which has large number of vertices, maintaining the regularity. Okay, so how to produce or how to design huge networks? Huge means I want 2 raised to 40 or 2 raised to 35 of that order. Okay, so it's not easy to construct such graphs, but there are 3 standard methods which we use in designing interconnection networks. We'll come to this as the next one. Okay, so these are come across through a simple example. What do you have? You have a graph G. You take the line graph of G. You take the line graph of G. Again, 3 steps: line graph of G, etc. You repeat this process. So kth iterated line graph is the line graph of the k-1 iterate, obviously. So this is the definition of the graph iterations of the line. Okay, so L of G, L of 1G is L of G, L of 2G is L of G, etc. Fine? Are you with me so far? I want at least one answer, yes. Yes, fine. So, I am using the new graph dynamics terminology, L convergence and L divergence. When we say that the graph G is convergent under an operator, is that look at all iterates, look at the set, that should be fine. Okay, so G, L of G, L of G, L3G, L4G, etc. You take that. If that set is fine, I can say that the graph G is convergent under the operator. Okay, if it doesn't, the set is not finite, I say that the graph G is divergent under F.
Other instance of the finite graph giving the range infinite.
Just one second. Now, I go to general case, not necessarily a line graph operator. I consider any operator T. Okay, when I say lavishly that any operator T, your first doubt is whether are there any other nice operators other than line graph operators. I can suggest at least 100 operators from the book by Eric Prisner, graph operators or graph dynamics. So there is no dearth of operators. There are some nice operators better than line graph operator called click operator, click graph, block graphs, so many operators are there. Okay, so I say the definition in a general setting is any graph operator. A graph G is T periodic. There exists some K such that TKG becomes G. What am I doing? I am starting with a G, G square, G cube, etc. Suppose G raised to 4, L raised to 4G is G. I say that this graph G is periodic with median 4. Okay, when K is equal to 1 is my fixedness. That was the problem posed by O'Reilly. Right? I want to find all G such that line graph of G is isomorphic to G. What does it mean in the language of periodicity? I want to find all graphs G such that whose median is 1 with respect to the line graph operator. I repeatedly say with respect to line graph operator means if I change the line graph operator I get a different setting. The whole theory is different. Now, this makes sense now because when you take a line graph and a click graph, my basic question is, does the line graph operator and click graph operator commute? Okay, what does it mean? Is it true that line click is equal to click line? Right, what do? I take a G to find the line graph of G and then find the click graph. Other way, I take a graph G, take its click graph and take the line graph. So I am asking basic question, is it true that LK is equal to KL? So whatever good or bad questions that you can ask in operator theory of functional analysis or linear algebra, you can ask all these good or bad questions as far as graph operators are concerned, and you may get a good answer or you may not get a good answer, but we don't know. I want to find all graph operators which commute with the line graph operator. I don't know the answer. We know that line click is equal to click line in some classes of graphs. That's already done. Even the iterates of click operator, click graph operator is much more interesting in some sense. I am not mentioning this click graph operator in this class because my aim is to say something on interconnection networks for which the line graph operator is a better tool because the line graph operator is having a nice property that when G is regular, line graph of G is also regular. Okay, so I want to try those operators for which the regularity is maintained, and one classic example is line graph operator, and one traditional graph which is used in designing large scale interconnection network is a line graph operator. Okay, so I said that it is mortal. Mortal means dies out. Okay, dies. Dies means what? I take a G to find LG, L of G finally dies out. Nothing. Right? That's mortal. Okay. So look at this example. To take a P5, path on 5 vertices, line graph of P5 is P4. It's very easy, isn't it? Line graph of P4 is P3, P3 is P2, P3 is P1 and it dies. So the line graph operator is mortal when you take the class of paths. Isn't it? If you take a path on n vertices, line graph of Pn is Pn minus 1, line graph of Pn minus 1 is Pn minus 2. So finally after n steps it's going to die. Look at the second example. If you take the F graph, line graph of F of this, its line graph is that, K4 minus E. Line graph of K4 minus E is this. Line graph of this is this. Now you are in danger. Because this gentleman is going to grow. Okay, because line graph of this graph is going to be a huge graph. So even after 10 steps, it becomes highly big, very huge. When under the action of an operator, if a graph some parameter or it becoming bigger and bigger means there is some parameter in the graph G which makes it bigger and bigger. Okay, or the challenge or the art of finding problems in this area is to find that parameter which under some operator P makes the graph bigger and bigger. That parameter grows, becomes bigger and bigger. Therefore, I am not able to say anything about the convergence or divergence. Okay, so we will make it precise by saying this statement. The second example, we get an impression that the graph L diverges, but since it's bigger and bigger, there is something which grows. What is that something? If you can catch out of some phi something from a graph operator, I think you can get a base rating. But then sometimes at least getting one will be difficult. You got my point? So you have to search for a parameter which becomes bigger and bigger under the repeated iterations of the operator. What is that? Can you tell me 1, 2, 3 like that? Okay? So need to make this something grows. Right? What is that something? Right? What is that something? We can catch out of that something. Is it a graph parameter? If a parameter means any property of the graph G which is preserved under isomorphisms also. So for example, chromatic number, such things are the parameters, isn't it? Oh. Okay. So circuit, the first puzzle which I posed you. gives me an example of a circuit 4, 2, 1. Okay, so what is the circuit? I find start with G, E of G, E square of G, etc. After some stage I want TPG to be G itself. Isn't it? This is what exactly what I did here. If you reach 4, you get 2 goes to 1, 1 goes to 4. So what was my collapse problem or collapse conjecture? Show that 4 to 1 was the only circuit. It's a huge, wonderful conjecture. It's about 50 years now. Simple looking person. I have written to school children this problem in Malayalam.
There's another circuit there.
Eh?
There's another circuit.
No.
2142.
That's what I told you. 2, 1?
2142.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. 4 to 1 is 2, 1, 4 to 4 goes to 2, 2 goes to 1, 2 goes to 4. That's the only circuit. Okay, so I will quickly say about some basic terminologies which you should know if you are interested in doing research in graph dynamics. Okay, so circuit, transition number, depth of a circuit. I will not spend more time on this because I want to say something on this interconnection networks also. So just pass that slide. So dynasty, semi-basin, basin, etc. So if you want to do research in the hardcore graph dynamics, you have to know these basic parameters like circuit, basin, semi-basin, depth, dynasty, etc. We will get some results like all circuits are finite semi-basins. I will spend 1 second about basin, semi-basin. What is semi-basin? Some sort of closure property, is it? Some sort of closure. I said that the subset B of states is a semi-basin. If you operate P of B, it is lying inside B. It's not going outside. Isn't it? That's what EB contained in B means. What is a basin? I want the composite, the complement also to be a basin. If you take something outside, that should be outside. For a basin, if you take something inside, it should be inside. Right? So a basin is a semi-basin, where the complement is also a semi-basin. So this is something like a closure property. What do? I take a set B, set of states, I operate T, I want T of B to be inside B. Okay, it cannot go out. Okay? So, where do you get such operators? Where do you get graph classes? These are the two Bibles to those who wanted to do research in graph dynamics or graph classes, Andre Brandsted's graph classes and Kushner's graph dynamics. So I take a pose. What will you do? How do you get problems? This is the usual trouble with the youngsters. They say that they don't have problems. We will give you problems. Solve it. Okay. So there are 100 graph operators in this book. And 100 graph, not 100, 1000 graph classes in this book. You take 2 graph operators and 3 classes, you get a PhD degree. So how many PhDs can be produced from these 2 books? We can calculate. Okay. So what we did was, our group in Cochin did was, judiciously took 1 graph operator, or in fact 3 graph operators, and some graph classes, we produced a PhD degree. So just like Gauss said, when you get a PhD degree, you get bored with the problem, so we leave it to somebody else to do some of these problems. Okay, so that's what is happening. Okay, so I'll spend about 5 minutes to this point and then go to part 2, another 20 minutes. See, what did I say? When I say that under the action of an operator, the graph is not convergent or is divergent. Your observation was that there is something in the graph G which grows. Right? That was the point of agreement. Right? If you have a graph operator, and if the family is not convergent or it diverges, there is something which becomes bigger and bigger. Okay, what is that something? Fine, I'll give you some 2-3 examples of that something, and if you want more examples of something, you go to that book. Unfortunately, both the books are out of print. Both the books copies are with the Cochin University students. Okay. So, but I believe that don't take photocopies. Please don't do that. I'm not writing a book in draft theory because I cannot tolerate people taking photocopies. Right. So each copy you have to buy. That is expensive also. Okay. So look at this. One is number of triangles in a graph. This number of triangles is an interesting object as far as coloring theory is also concerned. I want to find how many triangles are there in G. Okay, sorry, L of G. So I have a formula here. There are number of triangles in LG is number of triangles in G plus sigma degree of V C3. All combination of 3 element sets from all sets of degree greater than or equal to 3, you count it. So Subirji mentioned to me of a quote from one of his colleagues that each mathematical presentation should have a theorem and a joke, proof and a joke, but proof should not be a joke. I don't remember who told this. So I am borrowing the terminology of Subir. Each mathematical presentation should have at least one proof and at least one joke. But proof should not be a joke. Good. I started telling about this wherever I go after I met Subir 2 months back. He told me, so wherever I go, I repeat this and attribute this to Subir Ghosh.
I can take from somebody else.
Okay. So counting the number of triangles in LG is easy because all the triangles in G will give me a triangle in LG. Fine? Plus something more because K13 or K1n in G will produce a triangle in L of G. Are you okay with L of G? L of G is the most basic graph operator. So if you take L of, this is K13, if you take L of K13, you get a triangle. And this is the only pair, K3 and K13, whose line graph is same. These are all good old things in basic graph. Okay, so you look at any vertex of degree greater than or equal to 3 to find all possible edges of vertices, incident on vertices of degree greater than or equal to 3. So such triple X are there. Degree of V combination 2 is 3. So you sum up all these things, what you get is number of triangles. So number of triangles in L of G is number of triangles in G plus sigma dvc3. That's a simple proof. So I have given you one proof. I have given you several jokes. So my assignment is okay. Fine. You can use this, the formula for number of triangles. See, I will tell you one thing. Peterson graph has no triangles, isn't it? But line graph of Peterson graph will have 120 triangles. So things are becoming serious. Right? Because Peterson graph girth 5. It's a bipartite graph, so there is no triangle in it. Girth is 5. But all vertices are of degree 3. Fine? So if you take it, and there are 10 vertices, more than 120, right? It has 6. Okay? So more than 120 triangles. Sigma dvc3, degree of V is 3 for every vertex. Okay? So, you can use this theorem to conclude that paths, cycles and K13 are the only graphs which are convergent under the line graph operators. Okay, so in that sense, regarding the convergence property of the line graph operator is not a good operator, but I mentioned this bad operator because I want to use the iterates of this line graph operator in the design of graph scaling convention networks. Right? Now another parameter is maximum degree. If you take maximum degree, This maximum degree can even decrease under line graph operator. Because if you take K1n, K1n has degree, maximum degree n. But line graph of K1n is Kn, whose maximum degree is n minus 1. Okay, so the line graph degree may decrease under the line graph operator, but in the long run means we take the line graph of G, third stage, maximum degree of line graph of 3G is greater than maximum degree of delta G. So what is it? I gave you a hint. Maximum degree could be a parameter which is growing at each stage. Okay, number of triangles may be a parameter which goes in each stage. If you repeatedly take the graph of. Okay. So we have learned that almost every graph is L1n under L except the cycles, paths and triangles. Okay. Okay. I do the same business here. What do? I take a graph G, I find its line graph and its complement. Now you can play. Okay, now you can play. The rule of the game is clear to you. Players are there, so you start playing. Who are the players? Players are graph operators. Who is making the first kick? You are doing. Who are you? You are a PhD student. Okay, so you have got plenty of problems everywhere, but I want a problem which can be solved. There are plenty of problems to be solved, you can do it. So what do? I take a graph G, its complement, play it. Because complement is fine, line graph is not fine, but doesn't mean that line graph of G complement is not fine. Okay, that's it. So every finite graph containing some cycle of length at least 6 diverges if you take the line graph and its complement. Okay, proof uses the notion of a touching number of a graph of a cycle. I will not touch this because if I touch this I will not reach the other section. Okay, so I will spend 1 second more. This is how the line graph and its complement behave. Okay? So what do? I take a graph G. This is the line graph of G. Line graph of G complement is that. Okay. So there are two operators now. Are you getting me? Line graph of a graph and the complement of a graph. Right? You take a graph G, find its line graph, take its complement. Do it repeatedly. Do it iteratively. That's some interesting information. What are you getting? Something yes, sometimes no. Okay, so if you take that graph G, what is it? That graph G is mortal. We use the technical term because after finite number of steps, this became empty set. We cannot proceed further, isn't it? Right? Are you following me? So if you take a graph that G, you do line graph of G and its complement. After finite number of steps, it becomes empty set. We cannot proceed from here. So this graph G is a mortal graph as far as line graph complement is concerned. Okay. So touching number, not touching. Those who want to touch it, go to graph dynamics book. Okay. You can generalize the line graph operator, you get K-path operator. So this is what the behavior of path 2 graph. Look at all paths of length 2 in a graph G. The operator is, you say that it's path 2G operator, it is a graph of, it produces a path of length K plus 1 or a union of cycles. So this is a K-path graph operator. K-path graph, path KG, has all paths of length K as its vertices. Two such paths are adjacent if the union of the corresponding paths form a cycle or a path of length K plus 1. Is definition clear? Path KG consists of all paths of length K as vertices. I say that two vertices are adjacent If you take these two parts, either I get a path of length k plus 1 or union of these parts is a cycle. Then I say that the corresponding vertices in path kg are adjacent. So what you have is this. Look at this again. There is an increasing parameter, isn't it? Look at path kg and the touching number of path kg. Touching number of path kg is going to be greater than or equal to 2 times touching number of g. So this is a candidate. That's what I am telling for possible analysis of convergence or divergence. See, I am looking for parameters in the graph G which becomes bigger and bigger, right? So I gave you 3 examples, number of triangles, maximum degree and touching number, and there are some graph parameters which are called increasing parameters. Increasing graph parameters means it increases when you iterate that operator. Okay. Have some 10 minutes?
Yeah, sure. For 15 minutes.
15, 2.5.
Not 5,
Okay, that make 1, 3. Okay, part 2. I want to say about 1 second about this picture. This is drawn by my cousin, oil paint. Okay, so it's a very good artist. I showed this in Taiwan also, when all of us went to Taiwan. It's Kathakali, those who know Kathakali will enjoy it. Okay, so part 2 is using line graph and its iterates to design large scale interconnection networks. The choice of line graphs as far as graph dynamics is concerned is not a good choice because almost all graphs are divergent. But it is a good choice because if I am not interested in convergence or divergence, just only producing huge graphs from the given graphs, line graph is a good choice. Because number of vertices of the line graphs at each stage is going to increase because it is number of edges. Okay, in general, in a graph G we have more, it's not a dense, it's not a sparse graph, it's a dense graph. Usually number of edges in a graph is more than the number of vertices. Okay, so the topological structure of the interconnection network is basically a graph. I would suggest so many Bibles is under Bible for those who are interested in interconnection networks. It's a huge book, some 1500 pages. Interconnection networks and graph theory and interconnection networks. There is a journal for networks, there is a journal called interconnection networks. Such journals are there which find publication of such networks. Okay. Don't bother about the first part. I put an update. If anybody can update me, that will be fine. I have only an old information. For example, the connection machine has 2 power 16 vertices. I tried to update this information for that, but there are vague answers like huge graphs are there in the interconnection, large scale interconnection networks. So how to design a large interconnection network? There are 3 standard methods. One is using line graph and its iterates. I repeat, why the choice of line graph? Because if you take a regular graph, line graph is also regular. So regularity is preserved by line graph operator, and interconnection networks people need networks which are having a regularity structure. Regular means every vertex has same number of edges incident on it. Okay, right. So I want to see that all nice properties are preserved by some operators. Again, the candidate is a line graph because it preserves. You can study some properties of degree, Lagrange interconnectivity, Euler-Ring property, Hamilton density property, etc. in comparison with the line graph and its, in comparison with the graph and its line. Okay. Okay. So line graph method, KD method, and partition product. Okay, so these are the 3 standard graph techniques by which you can design a large scale interconnection network. I will not concentrate on the second and the third. I will concentrate in this talk only line graph. Lot of books are there. Hypercubes are studied. Hypercube is a nice structure to take the Cartesian product of K2s. complete graphs of order 2, what you get is hypercube. Your cube is 3 cube. Okay, suppose you know cube. Okay, so this is your 3 cube. You take the Cartesian product of 3 cube with the K2, what you get is a 4 cube. Okay, so hypercube is a nice structure. You can try to count the different Hamiltonian cycles in Qn. If you want a research problem, find the domination number of Qn. It is still in trouble. Okay, you have only bounds for the domination number of hypercubes. Okay, so Sandy Clauser and others, Sullivan, Boschko, these are all the people, and there are a lot of material as far as this structure is concerned. Okay. Because it is interconnection networks, and because in an interconnection network, source and sink does matter, you will slowly go from graphs to diagram graphs. Okay, so where the things are starting and where the things are ending has importance as far as the interconnection network is concerned. Isn't it? So source and sink are important. So therefore, I have considered only directed graph. So you have to modify the definition of the line graph of a graph, you will take G to be digraph. Okay, so look at the first definition of a line graph, line diagram. Line digraph LDG has its vertices, the edges of G, no problem. But make two edges adjacent, if and only there are vertices X, Y, Z in DG, such that A is equal to XY. There is a direct range from X to Y, and there is a direct range from Y to Z. Okay, so then only I will come contested. Okay, if both are like this, I don't want. Right? Now, these are the usual results due to Whitney and others regarding connectivity, etc. So in this slide, we have justified why I am taking a line graph operator, because all the nice property that you want for an interconnection network is preserved by the line graph operator. So basically, line graph operator is a good candidate for designing large-scale interconnection networks. Okay. What is it? A graph is normally connected if only its line diagram is normally connected. This is Whitney's theorem corresponding to line graph of G. To take kappa G vertex connectivity of G is less than or equal to edge connectivity of G by 3. But I can squeeze in, sandwich connectivity of line graph of D in between edge connectivity of G and edge connectivity of line graph. Okay, so this follows from Whitney. This also follows from Whitney. This is the only part which you got. But proof is not a joke, so I am leaving it. Okay, that's simple also, so I am not there. Okay. And diagram of G is Hamiltonian. If and only G is Eulerian, you can count. It's not true in the line graph of ordinary graph. So similarly, you can define the iterated line diagram, which has got a nice property that the diameter of the line graph, n iterated line graph is k plus n, where that k is diameter of k. So diameter of G. Okay. So what you get? You take second operator, second iteration. What you get is diameter becomes k plus 2. Okay. Okay. So one example I will take and then this one. This is also a good old example, but I heard that this is still used in some this optical fiber technology products. That's what I found in the internet. I'm not doing any research in this area, but interested in the Cartesian product and its use in designing large-scale interconnection networks. Okay. So, the de Bruijn graph, but interestingly, the de Bruijn sequence, the first use of de Bruijn sequence is by in the Pingala's work on Sanskrit grammar. That was interesting for me. Okay, debride sequence is there, notion of debride sequence produced from a debride graph. One of the method of getting debride sequence is to use the debride graphs. One interesting information which I found in the internet was that the first use of debride sequences was by Pingala in the study of Sanskrit grammar, rhapsody of Sanskrit grammar, which was used by him. So go back to the roots. That's my request. Okay. So this is the interesting thing. Each n-dimensional debride graph is the line diagram of the n-1 dimensional debride graph with the same set of symbols. So that's where I am going to use the iterates of the line graph operator in designing large-scale interconnection networks. So this is the definition. Just concentrate here. VDN is defined as n-1 line graph of KD plus. What is KD plus? You take a complete diagram of order D and you attach those each one. Okay, so first level debride is to just take a complete graph of order 2, complete diagram of order 2 and you attach K1. Okay, so this is the structure of K21, K12. Okay. So V21, K1, V21, V22, V23. Okay. So this is V21. Line graph of V21 is this. Line graph of that is this. Look at this one thing. Number of vertices increases. Okay. So if you take even 10 steps or 20 steps, you get a huge graph because number of vertices increases tremendously. Interestingly, the whole thing is viewed as a dynamical system again. That's something interesting. And that is one plus point of internet. You get lot of information in minimum time. Okay, optimal. See, this looks like Lorentz attractor. Those are interested in fractals and chaos. You know, Lorentz is a materiologist who first predicted the difficulty of mathematics in dealing with climate analysis. Okay, as I said in the beginning, math promoter. So I wrote an article on the difficulty of weather prediction in the framework of mathematics, and you know that this year is the year of mathematics for planet Earth. Okay, this is a proposal of UNESCO to study mathematics in a more comprehensive way to help Yemen predict their climate analysis and so on. It's a huge project. In India also we had some conferences. So I'll take only 3 minutes. If you want to compare the properties of debride graphs with hypercubes, degree and diameter of BDN are not related, whereas degree and diameter of hypercubes are related, both are n. There is a unique shortest path between any two vertices in a debride graph, but if you take a hypercube, that is not true. Okay. But as far as the KD graph structure is concerned, debride graph is not a good thing because it loses the property of symmetry. Okay, but whereas take a hypercube, it's a vertex symmetric graph, it's a beautiful structure. You can study the property of hypercube at one point and that is same as another point because the graph is vertex symmetric. But that property is not there as far as debride graph is concerned. Some are good, some are bad. I heard that my friend is going to use that quotation, so I am not using that quotation. If he doesn't say, I will tell again. I think John is here. He said he will use that quotation. So I am reserving that quotation from that collection which I gave you yesterday to be used by him. So I am not telling you. This is the other approach of getting large-scale interconnection networks. You take the Cartesian product of graphs. See, what is the essential idea what I want? From small graph, I want to construct big graphs. That is the strategy. Okay, what are the standard methods? That's what I told you. Iterates of line graphs. We can find any other iterates of any other graph operator which will also serve the same purpose. Let me know. As far as I know, I don't know. Okay. But that increasing parameter, decreasing parameter, how complex the structure is, how useful it is, that is more. These are all simple examples. If you have any network, these are the parameters which you should study. Parameter, connectivity, wide dynamic, dynamic variability, dynamic vulnerability, edge detection. These are the terminologies that you find in any large scale interconnection networks that can be studied by using Cartesian products and other similar products. As far as product graphs are concerned, some of these 3 books are there with British and Douglas Hall. Product graphs, objects in graph theory, graphs and Cartesian products. British, Sandy Claus and Thomas, and book of product graphs. We can have a very different outlook, approach when you look at this object as finding applications in mathematical chemistry, where you study a lot of results from graph theory with the hypercube as a model. You can have a folded hypercube, you can find the Hosoya index, such indices which are useful in chemical graph theory. So those who want to deviate from this point to other, that's also, there are plenty of problems. This other good problem, decay problem in graph theory, where you come across the idea of more graphs. Okay, this is also well known, but those who are not less well known, you concentrate on your Facebook. Facebook will give you a lot of scope for further research. At least excitements in mathematics. How to popularize mathematics is one of my activity. So this is one of the slides which I use for school children, just to show that Facebook, there is mathematics behind Facebook. Okay, because to analyze a structure which is 700 million with 70 million vertices, it's not a joke. And the whole traditional graph theoretic techniques fail. Random graphs models are not sufficient. We need a graphs which follow what is called power law or small world network. This is a very highly challenging problem. A lot of members are coming in social network analysis and so on. But the systems, the problems are not easy, but they are interesting and challenging. And I will suggest this book. It's only 800 pages, but spend only time, not money. It is freely downloadable from the site. It's a beautiful book by Kleinberg. You know Kleinberg was the Nobel Prize winner in 2006 ICM. I was fortunate to hear him and I met him receiving this award. To be frank, he gave a plenary talk, 1 hour. For 30 minutes or 20 minutes I thought, because I was so ignorant about the subject, that I thought that what is he talking? It's so simple. But later on he found that it is really exciting, and that's why he got Nobel Prize. It's about navigation in a network. This is a beautiful book. Networks and Markets, published by American Mathematical Society. Yes, thank you.